5 News at Noon starts now.
A former Van Buren police officer appears in court today accused of stalking a child online. We'll have the latest from the courthouse. And Fateville Restaurant Week is serving up some special deals. We'll hear from local businesses on how this week is helping to boost foot traffic. Well, thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with meteorologist Danny Cassidy. When asked today about what the update was with the weather, you said it was hot and humid, but maybe a little less humid.
A little less humid, just a tad, and that might help us a little bit. It's not going to be super noticeable, but hey, we'll take the small little victories and take them while we can get them. We'll show you what it's looking like right now, though, what it feels like outside, because unfortunately it's not too much different, but that degree or two dew point lower is making it maybe a degree or two lower feels like. Again, you're not going to walk outside and be like, Danny, this is fantastic. It's going to be pretty similar. Those feels like in the mid-90s there in northwest Arkansas, low triple digits in the River Valley. You see 105 there in Clarksville, and Johnson and Logan County is where that extreme heat warning is, and that's where some of the hotter areas are. 102 though in Fort Smith, the River Valley, obviously usually the hotter spots, but again, still feeling very hot there in the River Valley. For the northwest Arkansas areas, we go throughout the rest of this afternoon. Some areas could approach 105. I think it'll stay about 103, 104, just below the heat advisory criteria, but still feeling pretty warm nonetheless. We head through the rest of this afternoon, this evening. For the River Valley, we'll stay in that triple-digit range. I do think some areas will get close to 110, but again, overall, now you're seeing the heat advisory actually literally just got expanded as I'm looking at it here for the rest of this afternoon with those heat indices already kind of jumping. So we do have it for the entire area. Again, as we're going through the day, we'll talk about how long this heat will last, if there's any break in the system coming up in your full forecast. Morgan.
Thanks, Danny. Well, new at noon, we have new details as the now former Van Buren police officer accused of stalking a minor appears in court today. 45-year-old Jason Seitz is accused of stalking the minor over TikTok. Investigators say Seitz was messaging a 14-year-old girl on the app. When the girl reported it to her mother, Arkansas State Police took over the account and continued communicating with Seitz as they say he sent sexual messages. Police say Seitz then arranged to meet with the girl at Casey's on Fateville Road in Van Buren. And reports show he was arrested after he arrived at the store. After his arrest, police say Seitz admitted to messaging the teen and going to Casey's to meet her. People started lining up before sunrise this morning in Boise, Idaho to get inside the courtroom where Bryan Kohberger will be sentenced for killing 4 University of Idaho students. Andres Gutierrez reports from outside the courthouse.
Emotions are high inside this Boise courtroom where the family and friends of 4 murdered University of Idaho students came face to face with their loved one's killer.
Because of him, 4 beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world for no reason.
It's been nearly 3 years since Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez, Zaina Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were found stabbed to death at their off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Earlier this month, Bryan Kohberger accepted a plea deal that took the death penalty off the table, but keeps him in prison for the rest of his life.
I hope that they are remembered for who they are, not what happened to them, because who they are were so beautiful.
Heading into today's sentencing, there were so many questions surrounding this case, including the motive and the details of the killings. The father of Kaylee Gonzalez told CBS News last week that he was writing his impact statement without knowing key information.
I need to know the facts of what, how many times was my daughter stabbed? Was she choked? What happened?
As part of the deal, Kohberger, a 30-year-old criminology student, also waived his right to appeal. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Boise, Idaho.
Yesterday, prosecutors filed a motion to extend the order barring Kohberger from contacting his victims' families for an additional 99 years. The current no contact is set to expire in January of 2027. Today, Texas officials began a formal investigation into the deadly July 4th flooding disaster. At least 135 people were killed. Officials will look into how response teams handled the emergency. Investigators will also focus on whether the flooding disaster could have been prevented. Next week, Texas lawmakers will hear directly from survivors in the hardest hit areas. And there are growing questions around conditions inside of a number of immigration holding facilities. Video released by the New York Immigration Coalition shows inside a holding cell at the city's federal immigration offices. Men can be seen sleeping on the floor in thin blankets and sharing a single toilet. The Department of Homeland Security has disputed concerns about its facilities and says detainees at the New York facility are only held there briefly. Meanwhile, in Florida, crowds demanded the detention center in the Everglades be shut down and for it to not be referred to as Alligator Alcatraz.
Is this a joke? No. To mock the very real suffering of migrants, to stir up fear, and to turn human rights violations into campaign slogans.
You need a place that you can process and deport efficiently.
This comes as CBS News polling shows a growing number of Americans disapproving of the White House's handling of immigration. Well, President Trump is expected to deliver remarks this afternoon at an artificial intelligence summit in Washington, D.C. The Trump administration is also touting new trade deals with Japan and Indonesia. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
Stocks rose at Wall Street's open on news the Trump administration reached a deal with its fifth largest trading partner.
I just signed the largest trade deal in history. I think maybe the largest deal in history with Japan.
President Trump posted on social media that Japan will open its markets to the U.S. just a day after announcing he's lowering a proposed 25% tariff on Japanese goods to 15%. Earlier, Japan's prime minister, who is facing calls to step down, said auto tariffs will also be lowered to 15%, sending Japanese auto stocks soaring.
The administration has also announced frameworks for trade deals with Indonesia and the Philippines. The president of the Philippines sat down for trade talks with President Trump Tuesday.
There's a lot of income coming in for both groups.
But during that Oval Office appearance, the president faced questions about the administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files and a new DOJ request to speak to Epstein associate and convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
When asked about it, the president pivoted to accusing the Obama administration of manipulating and politicizing intelligence findings about Russian meddling in the 2016 election.
They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that.
A spokesman for former President Obama responded saying in part, these bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Also noting bipartisan congressional findings that while Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, it did not manipulate any votes. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Stellantis, the car company behind makes like Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep, says it lost $2.7 billion in revenue last quarter. General Motors and Chevy reported its revenue is down more than 30% as well. Tariffs are a leading cause for those drops, but automotive experts say in the case of Stellantis, the company has bigger issues than tariffs as they undergo major restructuring and emission changes. Economists say auto manufacturers are going to have to figure out a way to adjust to the higher costs moving forward. One way is to move more operations back to the U.S.
I think the tariffs are going to live well beyond the Trump presidency. But the automakers are going to learn how to mitigate this, i.e. soften the blow of the additional cost of the tariffs, but they're going to have to live with it.
Ford Motor Company's earnings are also expected to be affected by the Trump tariffs. As more Arkansans rely on government benefits like Social Security, concerns are growing over scams targeting EBT cardholders. DHS is urging local recipients to protect their benefits now. Arkansas Department of Human Services officials report a rise in EBT card fraud cases statewide and across the country. Scammers use tactics like card skimming and cloning, stealing money before cardholders even know. Changing your PIN is a simple but crucial step DHS recommends to keep your benefits safe.
We recommend that you not use common PINs, but also things like maybe your month and day of your birthday, or the numbers of your address or your phone number. Just don't choose things that someone could easily associate with you.
Since launching an online reporting form, DHS has received about 350 reports, though the real number could be higher. Well, dining deals are taking center stage this week in Fayetteville. It's Restaurant Week, and local eateries are cooking up special menus and discounts to entice customers. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi gives us a look at how this week is helping boost businesses for these local places during a typically quiet time.
From food truck favorites to upscale dining, Experience Fateville says the options are nearly endless in Fayetteville's culinary scene. And this week, they're encouraging residents to get out and get a taste of what these local businesses have to offer. Now, around 75 restaurants are participating in this year's Fayetteville Restaurant Week, offering something for every taste bud. Now in its third year, the event encourages restaurants across the city to offer special menus and deals aimed at attracting locals and visitors alike to Fateville's diverse culinary scene. Jeremy Brown, co-owner of Nomad's Trailside, said the event helps bring in new customers during one of the slowest months of the year. He adds marketing campaigns can be expensive for local restaurants and says weeks like this help get the word out.
When you are local, you don't really have big budgets for marketing campaigns, national campaigns. And so, and Fateville also has a lot of people that are in and out of town. Or even for people that live in Bentonville or Rogers. When you have Fateville Restaurant Week, it actually probably brings in people from other cities and creates an event, something for people to experience. And they save a little bit of money by going and experience all the different restaurants.
You can find more information on our website at 5newsonline.com, and the event goes until Saturday. Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Thanks, Jacob. And a big celebration happening tomorrow for NBA champions Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe. Signs like this are already up in the downtown Fort Smith area where the parade is happening for the 2 Northside Grizzly grads. That will be on Garrison Avenue tomorrow. You can find all the details on the parade route and a schedule of events on our website, 5newsonline.com. And we're also planning to stream the Thunder in the Fort celebration live on 5 News Plus.